What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. So KATARINA is going to be another one of the big four assassin reworks, and we finally gotten some clues as to the actual direction that Riot are finally going to take with it. We've also got some exciting news from Skara actually regarding the KATARINA rework, because Skara talked a little bit on stream about how he got the chance to playtest the KATARINA rework, and he mentioned how he personally loved the direction that Riot had taken with the new version of KATARINA. And you know, he put a lot of focus on the fact that she was just a lot of fun to play. So although I'm not a KATARINA main, if I was, I would definitely be super optimistic about this one. And it's really cool that Riot uses some pro players as a part of their playtesting team. And Skara, you know, he's a really well-known KATARINA player, so he's definitely a great choice for it. And well, good enough for Skara, good enough for us. So anyway, let's jump into what we're expecting for KATARINA's future rework. And as always, if you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button, and if you don't, definitely hit that dislike, because if this video hits 5,000 ratings, I'm gonna buy myself some chicken wings. Now right now KATARINA is in a little bit of a weird spot, because she's actually quite frustrating to deal with in certain situations, because she can kind of just rip apart an entire team in a matter of seconds. I mean, her whole reset mechanic is entirely what she's based around though, and it does make her extremely fun to play, so Riot definitely wants to try to find a way to keep that sort of like adrenaline rush kind of feeling when playing KATARINA, but without her being that unfair to play against as well. I mean, the way it's at right now, once KATARINA gets that first reset, she can sometimes just turn that one kill into an entire pentakill without much time for the enemy team to react to her or to counter her at all, honestly. So this rework is a lot focused on making her gameplay a lot more fair to play against, but without making her slower or boring to play at all. You know, there's a bunch of goals for this KATARINA rework, and looking at them, we can kind of figure out what the reworked kit is going to look like. So the first goal from Riot is, of course, to improve her tactical play. I mean, right now, she's just all about throwing a bouncing blade and then jumping at a target and then kind of just face rolling her abilities until they die, right? She doesn't entirely have to plan out her combos exactly, and there's not a ton that an unaware target can actually do about it either if they don't have their crowd control effect up, which honestly just is flat out unhealthy and repetitive gameplays. You know, first up, they're definitely going to widen the window of time that she actually takes to dish out a damage combo, so that it, you know, gives opponents a chance to interact with her. This is pretty standard at this point, something happening to all assassins really, since she's also just going to be having to put herself in more dangerous places, more dangerous positions. The next thing, of course, as a trade-off that they're doing for that, is they're improving her ability by letting her reset Shunpo in more ways, so that if she's in over her head, she can just make the choice to try and escape straight up. Right now, once she's in a fight, she's kind of just committed in the fight for good unless she actually gets the kill, and that really sucks in some situations, especially in lane. And KATARINA's laning phase is so bad that her rework right now is almost for sure going to try to fix that a lot, and a big part of that is just letting KATARINA engage and escape better with improvements to Shunpo. Now, KATARINA as a champion is actually one that has quite a high skill cap overall. I mean, I think KATARINA's skill cap is something that's very underappreciated by the community, but her kit has little to no decision making outside of just the strategic sense of positioning, of just waiting for your opponents to use their crowd control abilities and then actually jumping in on them. So Riot wants to give her some more active decisions to make both before, during, and after a fight, so we can definitely expect that her abilities will be tweaked quite a lot to give her a few more options of what to do once things finally start to heat up. This does mean that she will become even harder to play though, but at the same time, she'll also have a lot more outplay tools, so skilled players will hopefully be able to just show off a lot more. You can just style on some kids here and there. It's going to be awesome. So the main part of this here is probably going to be the resets. Now, Riot described KATARINA as kind of like a feast or famine sort of champion right now. I mean, either she gets the first kill, just goes god mode on everyone and kills hella people, or she's kind of just totally useless because she gets crowd controlled, or she doesn't get the reset and, you know, she dies, right? So by giving her a new way to reset her Shunpo, it's more likely that she'll go in a fight and then decide whether she can risk it to finish off the kill, or just have to back out and escape rather than just being so all or nothing kind of, which should hopefully make her a lot more viable to play at least. So yes, she is getting a new way to reset her Shunpo. Her core identity is of course resetting cooldowns, so they're definitely going to keep her current passive to enable those awesome pentakill moments, which is great news for those of you who like to watch stream highlights and all that sorts of stuff, and for those of you who like to play Katarina. But it's not like Riot can just, hand Shunpo a huge ass buff in the form of extra resets and expect the ability to actually be balanced though, so of course, they have to remove something in return. And from what they've said so far, it sounds like that's going to be war jumping, as well as the damage reduction on the ability. So right now, war jumping lets Katarina jump in on fights and escape ganks, especially in lane, with not really that much of a forethought into her actual positioning. So taking it away finally means that she will actually have to strategize with her team, with her opponents, and just interact more in general before randomly thinking, hey, there's this dude over this wall, that's a free kill. Good players are going to be rewarded by getting a Shunpo reset, and the less experienced players are going to miss those opportunities, and it's a pretty interesting way to give her just a more serious learning curve overall. So with all that said, here's what you can definitely expect is going to happen with her kit based on some Rider comments, as well as the post that they made yesterday and just all of the information that we know so far. So first off, we know for sure that her passive is going to stay the same. It just pretty much defines Katarina as a champion. Resetting abilities as a reward for her kill is just kind of her thing. That's what makes Katarina Katarina, and so it's not going to change. We also know that Bouncing Blade is an ability that is almost certainly going to change, but it's still going to be area of effect, and it's still going to feel the same way on live in terms of like playstyle, but it's going to be a completely new ability. So that probably means the way it applies damage, or maybe the whole mark aspect will be changed. I mean, it's a little bit difficult to guess what exactly it's going to be changed to, but it will still probably be her main harass tool, her main wave clear tool, so hopefully current Katarina players won't have to get used to like a crazy brand new kit like with her last rework. So Katarina's W, Sinister Steel, is as well getting pretty much entirely changed and will be the single biggest difference in her new kit. So we don't really know what's going to replace it entirely, but Riot decided to complicate things and throw us a curveball with this one, because she's actually still going to be keeping the spin mechanic sort of area of effect melee range damage with her W that it is right now, but that version is going to be placed somewhere else on her kit entirely, which is quite confusing and hard to figure out. I mean, maybe it's going to be some kind of delayed effect on Shunpo, maybe it's actually going to become part of her Q or something, but it's definitely not going to be her W, and it's a little bit difficult to predict that. She's going to be spinning even more often though from what they've said, and having a low cooldown spin is pretty difficult to beat, so this is going to be an interesting ability to look out for sure. We know for a fact her Shunpo is staying the same, but with some mechanics tweaks, so to balance it, the new reset mechanic is going to have the damage reduction removed completely and war jumping removed as well. So I mean, but to be fair, let's be real, who actually needs damage reduction if they can just escape a fight more reliably anyway, right? Kill or be killed, that's the assassin way, and damage reduction like that isn't always really all that fair on an assassin in the first place, so the damage reduction is definitely going out the window. Considering that they also want to fix up Katarina's laning phase, our guess, I think, is that the new Shunpo reset method, because there's a lot of talk about how there's going to be additional ways to reset Shunpo's cooldown. My thoughts on that is that it's going to involve minions. If she kills a minion with Shunpo, she gets a reset, something like that. And that's definitely going to help her get more targets to hop to now that she's losing the war jump, but it also means that when fighting in the jungle or in the lane, she might also be able to use a minion as a way to escape a fight. It's a little bit difficult to talk about the specifics for it, but it would make a lot of sense given Riot's design goals for her rework. Katarina's ultimate Death Lotus as well is also going to be remaining pretty much entirely unchanged. Riot actually does like the gameplay of her ultimate a lot. It rewards, good target selection, rewards a coordinated team, and it does have enough counterplay on it because it is a very long duration channel effect. And it's very counterable. All you really need is some crowd control, which is a very accessible thing to have. I mean, it's probably going to be slapped with some tweaks to the numbers, of course, to keep her kit fair overall and just balance it a little bit. But the style of Death Lotus is going to remain as it is, which I'm pretty glad about because it's a very iconic ability that really defines Katarina as a champion. The writers did mention that they were a little uncertain about what they planned on doing with the Grievous Wounds portion on her ultimate though, because honestly, it's a pretty underrated part of the ability, and it does kind of keep her as a counterpick in some certain situations versus some certain champions, and it's honestly kind of a weird thing for her to have though. Like it makes sense thematically, but as a gameplay wise, it's just kind of feels like it's just there for no reason. I would probably be happy to see it stay though, just because it makes so much sense thematically, but it's probably going to go away from her ultimate. Really though, it just depends on how Riot balances out the rest of her kit, and if she has enough going for her that an extra bonus like that is just unnecessary or maybe just flat out overpowered. Overall though, she'll be way harder to learn, way harder to master, but she should also be a lot more fun to play, less annoying to play against, and hopefully will end up being viewed as a lot less of just like a newbie pub stomper kind of champion, and a lot more of just like an actually viable and competitive champion with her own strengths, her own weaknesses that are fair for both sides, but reward great Katarina players by quite a lot. It's pretty exciting stuff, honestly. I mean, I'm super curious to see how exactly her new Q and her new W is going to be, because it sounds like they're getting some serious changes. But that just about wraps up what we know about Katarina's future rework. I mean, she's still going to be the queen of resets we all know and love, but she'll be more mechanically complex, more satisfying to play, and hopefully less of a pain in the ass to randomly die to when she starts face rolling. Oh, and she's also going to spin a lot more too, so that's always good fun. If you guys have any cool guesses about what they might do in Katarina's new W or maybe in her new Q, definitely let us know in the comments below, and looks like that's going to be it for me. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.